Teens like to sleep, but in this video we're going to talk about how to get teens to wake up with energy. Does that even seem possible to you? I'm Nicholeen Peck and I teach parenting all over the world. I've also parented many teens. In fact, for many years I brought in treatment children into my home, all between the ages of 12 and 18. So I've pulled a lot of teenagers out of bed. I've also raised 4 children of my own. So let's talk about waking up and teenagers. In this video, we're going to be talking about how to help teenagers get out of bed and how to do it maybe even in a way that's energetic instead of grumpy, which can happen. And we're going to look at this whole issue through the lens of self-government. So what is self-government? Self-government is being able to determine the cause and effect of any given situation and possessing a knowledge of your own behaviors so that you can control them. So what does that mean? That means that a teenager would be able to say, what do I want to accomplish in the morning? Well, I want to get up at this time, so I think I'm going to prepare myself to wake up at that time tomorrow. And they would actually follow through and do it. That's what it means to be self-governing, to do what you do each day, right? In fact, that is kind of a big deal. If you're not the kind that wakes up in the morning either, it's not going to be too surprising if your children don't want to wake up as well, especially because they've got a lot of hormonal changes that are happening in their teen years, which actually make them very tired. That's why it seems like for a teenager, they can't ever get enough sleep. Well, in a way, that's true. They're growing a lot of muscle and skin and all kinds of things during this puberty time that they're going through, and so quite frankly, it's just draining. I have a secret phrase that I use with my children to help them get up in the morning and to even be energetic about it, and I'm going to tell you what that is in a minute, but first, let's lay a little bit of foundation work. So, when a person is learning self-government, they have to prepare ahead of time. So, in order to have your child get up in the morning, you need to prepare them before it's morning time. So, what does this mean? Many people immediately think, well, then that means we've got to go to bed, and they never go to bed. So, if you have a situation where your child is not going to bed because maybe they're using their phone as the alarm and they're on their phone all hours of the night because it's dinging and people are sending them text messages or whatever it is, we may need to adjust that. But going to bed isn't the only way that we prepare to get up, even though that is one of the good ways to prepare to get up. In fact, we probably should explain to our children that sometimes it's better to save homework till the early morning than to do it late at night. Now, if they are not going to go to bed when it is actually time to go to bed, then that could actually sabotage them in the morning. But usually if they go to sleep when it's time and they get up extra early, their brain is more fresh and they can actually do better at their homework then than they would have been able to do the night before. It could take half the time. I'm serious, half the time. So some of the skills I teach my children that are actually principles of self-government are how to follow instructions, accept no answers, accept consequences, and disagree appropriately. And all of these 4 skills can relate to helping a teenager wake up in the morning. So when you wake up in the morning, essentially you are giving yourself an instruction the night before, and then you are following through with that instruction in the morning. Your child can learn to do the same thing too if they learn how to follow an instruction in all things. So if you tell them, I need you to do this instruction, which is maybe a chore or to help prepare dinner or to clean up after dinner or to take one of their siblings to dance class or something like that, then that child is practicing following instructions, which is super helpful for them when they need to start giving themselves an instruction to wake up in the morning. So in our family, we have a family meeting that happens each week. I cannot tell you how many times in the family meeting one of our key topics has been, we've got to wake up better in the morning. So this is a big topic when you have teens living in your home because it's one of the hardest things that they do. So discuss it, plan ahead of time as a family what your wake up time will be. At that point, you have now established an instruction. If you feel like you need to remind everybody at night, go ahead and tell them, remember, it's an instruction that you wake up by this time. So now it is on their shoulders whether they get up at that time or not. And if they don't wake up at that time, you need to be prepared to do a correction. And this is what that would look like. Before I go into my correction and my secret words that I say to my children if they seem to be having a problem, I am going to invite you to subscribe to this channel. In fact, click that notification bell because every day new videos come out and you are not going to want to miss them. There is so much valuable content that can help you and your children get closer to self-government and each other. So let's talk about correction. In our family, we have a specific script. It's called the effective correction skill, and there are 7 steps to this skill. And the parents use it, the children know all the words. It starts with a description, and we describe what's happening, then describe what should be happening, why that would be a good idea, what they earned, and then we will allow them to accept that. They get the opportunity to do an extra chore of some sort, and then we practice following instructions, do some role play practices, and then they move on with their day. That's what a regular correction looks like. Now, if you do that type of a correction interaction with your child and they don't all of a sudden perk up and get going with their day, then you know that you probably need to do an intensive teaching. The rule of 3, which is something that you really need to learn to help in those really intensive teaching moments, is actually something that will help the children pull back into gear. And if they go all the way through the rule of 3 and they end up, earning all of those negative consequences that come with it, well, then that's up to them. And there's going to be a point where they come back into control and they'll have to accept all of those things and then start to fix things after that. And usually a few times of doing that, unless they have oppositional defiant disorder, it will usually kind of start to right itself after a little bit. But you've got to have something to back you up if they aren't going to get out of bed. So prepare yourself with correction. So what is my one magic phrase? It's easier than you might imagine. So in our family, we do something called a prep. So before it's time to do something, I often tell a child what is coming. This is a prep to prepare their brains to succeed. So if I'm going to give a child a no answer, I say, I'm going to give you a no answer. Here's the no answer, no. Or I say, oh, I'm going to give you a no answer. Do you remember how to accept a no answer? Here's the steps. Okay, no. So I do the same thing with an instruction. Remember, waking up in the morning is following an instruction. It's just an understood instruction. Once it's been talked about in a family meeting, everyone knows that this is something that should be accomplished. I might say to my child, hey, I'm going to give you an instruction. You need to wake up. Or when their alarm is going off and they're not waking up, I might pop my head in the room and say, your alarm's going off. That's an instruction. And then they know if they do not get up right then I'm going to immediately start a correction. They know that. They know I am that consistent. Consistency is key. If your children know that you're going to nag and cajole and allow them to lay about and not really have the wake up happen for quite a while, then they're going to push the limit. And they're going to make it so that you feel you're required to get them up and to get them to school on time, when in reality, it is their responsibility. But they don't just automatically take that responsibility. We have to teach them to accept that responsibility. So that's the magic phrase. This is an instruction, or that's an instruction. If I say that's an instruction, my child immediately looks at me, keeps a calm face, voice, and body, says okay, and does the task immediately, and then checks back. So then I hear, okay, and they sit up, and they get up, and they say, Mom, I'm up. Is there anything else? And they may not be the happiest in the world, but you know what? They're pretty energetic, pretty chipper, because they know they need to be calm about it. No whining, no anger ever does them any good, and they know it. That's the power of consistency and the power of self-government. If you've liked this lesson, I would love to share with you a free gift. The free gift is my Calm Parenting Toolkit. It's a mini course that has 10 lessons in it that will help you and your child develop the skills that you need for being calm in any situation. Since you are finding out about me here on this video, you can go to the link below this video in the description section that says teachselfgov.com/toolkit. If you click on the link, it will take you to that free Calm Parenting Toolkit and you will be on your way to learning self-government for yourself and your children.